Are you the unforgettable educator? And I challenge teachers to stop banging on the door of school boards demanding more money and learn how to take the skill sets you have in the classroom to create other entrepreneurial platforms around your profession.
I love that.
So it's not just about, okay, make your money in the classroom.
Yes.
Do what you do. If you love the classroom, if you love administration, whatever you love in that K through 12 or higher ed, do that. But write books, speak,
Yes.
consult, write curriculums, do other things. But this is the thing. They don't train teachers to think that way. They train teachers to give everything to the building, everything to that classroom, and then go home exhausted.
Welcome to In My Bag with Backpack Jeff, where we connect with ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And today, y'all, I got a very special guest that's here with me today, man. This brother right here, man, we connected and we met a year ago, man, actually during the pandemic. And I've been watching this dude. I've been following this dude, man. And he got so many gems in the speaking game. I want to introduce you all to the first time and reintroduce for those of you all who know this brother, Brian Heat. What's going on, my guy?
What's up, my guy?
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I'm honored to be here, man. Talk to me.
Man, you look good, man.
Thank you, brother.
You look good, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate
So tell us how do you introduce Brian Heat to the people? Like, who is Brian Heat?
I think, and to be honest with you, first of all, thank you for the platform. And I got to give you your roses first. We need more people like you and I creating platforms. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sometimes we just drive on our own lane. We look back. We didn't build that tree. We didn't present that. We didn't present a room for other people now behind us to walk in and shine as well. So thank you, bro.
Absolutely, man.
To me, I'm normal cat, Pittsburgh, born, but I'm an educator by trade.
Okay.
And so it's funny, man. When I talk to people, and it's funny with our people, when you start to tell them too many things you're doing, they think you're capping. So I don't get into the laundry list of I'm this, even though I have those accolades.
Okay.
I'll just say I'm an educator by trade.
Okay.
And at some point, probably around 2009, 2010, I really believed that the spirit of success I was finding in the classroom, I could translate that to bigger stages because I was having these incredible impacts. And if people don't realize that the universe is always trying to tell you where your next level is.
Okay.
I call it like these glimpses of destiny. And so parents and community leaders will say, man, you're an amazing teacher. Come to my church. You're an amazing person. Come to my football practice. Talk to my students. Now, I wasn't a public speaker. I was an educator.
Okay.
So that's who Brian Heat is. I'm an educator who started desiring to impact on larger levels.
Okay. Hold on. Time out. Can we? Because that was a mouthful right there,
Yeah.
man. So you're an educator who desires to impact on multiple stages.
Multiple stages and multiple levels in multiple ways.
I love it, man. I love it. So take us back to like that first time that you take us back to when you decided to be an educator, right? Because I imagine, for me, I remember when I was younger and I was in high school and in middle school, man, I'd never be a teacher.
Right.
And I'd never be a teacher.
Right.
I'd never be an educator. I'd never be someone standing in front of a classroom teaching people anything.
Right.
But now here I am as an educator. Did
Right.
you have any of those thoughts when you were younger? I'll never be an educator, or was that something that you always knew you wanted to do?
I definitely didn't have the thoughts of never wanting to be an educator or not wanting to be one.
Okay.
My mother's an educator by trade.
Okay.
If anybody's familiar with the Upward Bound program. So Upward Bound is a program that is for high school students, preparing them for college. And so my mom was the director of this Upward Bound program in the city of Pittsburgh for like 25 years. So I grew up watching my mom, this 5'2" woman, navigate these giant students and these staff, and they all loved her.
Right.
Mrs. Hamlin, loved her for real. Like, I never saw anyone who didn't embrace my mother like this woman changed my life. And I think the crucible moment for me, and I tell this to stages across the country, one year my cousin had gone into the program. It's a 4-year program, Upward Bound. And when he got in, he was a street kid. He wasn't a bad kid, but he was a cat, like most of us. If we don't have all the guidance, and even when we had the guidance, we found our way onto those blocks. And I think if my memory serves me correctly, he just needed some help.
Right.
And it was one of the things where if he didn't get that help, no one really knew what was going to be the end of the road for him. Fast forward 4 years, he became Mr. Upward Bound that year. And I'm sitting at the table about 10 or 11 years old, and I see my mom, his dad, my dad. And I look around the table, Jeff, and everybody's crying. And I'm bugging as a 10-year-old, like, yo, I thought we were happy. Why are we? He's Mr. Upward Bound. He's transformed himself into this great person. And they were like, Brian, these aren't tears of sadness. These are tears of joy.
Wow.
That your mother in this program saved my son, changed his life. And I think it was around that time where I said, you know what, I want to do that. I want to be able to come in someone's life and change their trajectory.
Okay.
Just a little bit. How can I? And then naturally, and I was talking to your man, Jay, about this, I had the natural gift of working with students, working with young people. I used to be a camp counselor.
Okay.
And so I started realizing I had the natural tendency and I had the ability to step into someone's life, connect with them quickly, and then throw some love, some guidance on them that would change their trajectory. So it was early on that I knew I wanted to help people, but I may not have known it was going to be teaching.
Okay. I like that, man. I like that. And what I love about our gifts is that they're present in our lives even from a young age.
Yes.
And it's not until we realize that it's a gift that we actually start to use it the way that it's intended to be used.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily, not luckily, because I don't really believe in luck, but fortunate enough for
Right.
you were able to see that and recognize that because you had the example
Right.
early on that this was possible and this is the impact that could be made. What does mom do right now? Is
She's retired.
she's retired?
But
Okay.
I'm going to drop two things on you. It was funny. And it speaks to parents.
Okay.
Even though I knew I had those skill sets,
Mhm.
when I was about to go to college, I went to South Carolina State. It's a big up to all my HBCUs. My father is the one that recommended that I choose that major. And he kind of sold it to me. He was like, son, and it's so funny. He said, son, you need to choose a major before you go to school. He says, son, you didn't put a lot of time and effort into your math classes. So you need to choose a major that doesn't expect a lot of math classes from you. He said, you're very bright, but I know you didn't put the time in. He said, but I also know, so he recognized one of my deficits was I had not put the time in that field. And when you go to college, and I tell people going to college, choose a major that speaks to your gifting and don't choose a major that puts you through a regimen of classes that you're really not good at. That's not your signature. That's not your affinity. And so he recognized what was not my affinity was the STEM. I was the language arts, the reading, the creative expression. He says, son, you should be a teacher. You're good with students. Kids love you. You seem like you love what your mother does. He said, teachers only work 9 months out of the year. I mean, he sold it to me, yo. Like you're out of work by 3 o'clock. Like he sold me this. But again, this speaks to a parent who knew their child.
Right.
You see that?
Drop that. Yeah.
He knew what I was good at. He knew what I was not strong in, enough to push me into the position to be successful.
Yeah.
And so it was my mom and my dad that said, okay, go become an educator. And so that's the first part. The second part of your question was what?
He lost me, y'all. Second part of my question was, so in the beginning, how did you know that you wanted to be an educator?
Right. And so again, it really was only that and my father, because again, you could recognize your gifts, but not know how they serve you in the marketplace.
Okay.
So think about how many people we know, they're talented young people,
Yep.
but they don't know how to transition that into serving them in the marketplace in terms of a career that you can earn money.
Okay, right there, right there. That's where I want to go right there. How do you, because when you hear teacher,
Yeah.
what do we hear about teachers? They don't make a lot of money.
Right.
Don't go into this thinking that even social work, that's what they told me.
Right.
Don't go into social work thinking that you're going to make a lot of money. Don't go into this thinking that you're going to get rich.
Right.
A mentor of mine told me, don't think that speaking is going to pay your bills. How do you change, or how do you make money doing this?
So in hindsight, like I have a son, he'll be 14 next week.
Okay.
And I battle in my mind, would I ever encourage my son to be a teacher? And the only way I would embrace him being an educator is if entrepreneurship is connected to it.
Okay.
Because there is not enough income to have the lifestyle I want him to have,
Right.
and the one I probably wanted to have when I came out of college.
Yep.
I don't think we're paid enough for
Okay.
the efforts that we put in. We're professional givers. And that's a lot right there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You give all day.
Right.
And so It's interesting. I do a workshop across the country called "Are You the Unforgettable Educator?" And I challenge teachers to stop banging on the door of school boards demanding more money and learn how to take the skill sets you have in the classroom to create other entrepreneurial platforms around your profession.
I love that.
So it's not just about, okay, make your money in the classroom.
Yes.
Do what you do. If you love the classroom, if you love administration, whatever you love in that K through 12 or higher ed, do that. But write books, speak,
Yes.
consult, write curriculums, do other things. But this is the thing, they don't train teachers to think that way. They train teachers to give everything to the building, everything to that classroom, and then go home exhausted. No, my thing is multitask. I think we're built for far greater than we give, but we have to kind of erase our programming and learn to think differently.
I love that. I love that. So you have to. I hope y'all heard what he said. Not just your 9 to 5,
Right.
but also a side hustle. And here's the thing: it's already stuff that you're doing anyway. As a teacher, you already have curriculums. You're already designing curriculums for your schools for the school years and stuff like that. It's stuff that you're already doing anyway. If you're a math teacher, why not get a math tutoring on the weekend, get in 20 students? Hey, if your kid needs extra help with math, 20 students, $30 a student, 20 times 30, that's what, $600 on a weekend. You go and do an hour or something like that. Boom, boom, there it is, right? You now have your business, you got your side hustle, you're making extra money, $600 a weekend, $1,200, $2,400 a month. That's how many of you would benefit from an additional $2,400 a month having 20 kids in a math class for an hour? Easy.
Mindset. It's mindset.
Mindset. How did you get that mindset for you to say, I'm not just going to teach, I'm also going to make and create this side hustle?
Well, I have to admit that didn't come till very much later on in my career.
Okay.
At that point, I had taught maybe 10 plus years. I had been a principal, a vice principal, dean of students. And I think I began to look for opportunities when I first moved to the DC area. And I tell people, man, I think there was a book called Soar by T.D. Jakes. And he talks about the Wright brothers, where they're originally from. The air and the weather patterns were not perfect for them to test their flying machine. So they had to relocate to where the weather would be more conducive to them testing their first flying machine. So I say that to say is put yourself in a position. You may have to relocate. You may have to go somewhere where you can find more like-minded people to stimulate the new mindset.
Yeah.
In the city of Pittsburgh, when I was coming up, there was not a lot of young, progressive thinking African Americans. It wasn't. And so I wanted to move to the DC area when I came out of college because I saw a lot of us winning in a lot of different areas. So for me, when I first got here, I was managing hip hop artists. I was throwing parties on U Street. You know what I'm saying? That's where I bumped into cats like W. Ellington Felton, Raheem DeVaughn when they're first getting started. And I'm starting to see educator entrepreneurs. Gabriel Asheru Ben, who used to do the soundtrack for Boondocks. He's an educator by trade, but him and his man Blue Black had a group called Unspoken Herd, and they did the soundtrack for Boondocks. I'm like, hold up, Slim. You're a teacher that went to UVA, but now you also travel the country being a hip hop artist and you're writing curriculum and you're doing soundtracks. Hold up, Slim. I didn't know that existed. I didn't know that I could do this and take these same skill sets and put it over there.
Yeah.
So slowly but surely, a seed was being planted. Every year I was in the classroom, I was meeting people, and God was exposing people to me that were educators but knew how to do other things. So probably around 2009, 2010, again, I began to realize I can take my classroom knowledge and my energy and then put it on stages where I could do the same thing in the classroom, but on a bigger scale.
Yo, I hope y'all are catching these gems right here. So you run into these people.
Yep.
They're giving you information and showing you examples of how you can use what you already have and create it and turn it into something bigger. Okay. So you do that. How do you know that it's going to work out? Or do you know that it's going to work out?
So something just hit my spirit. I want to make sure we pick this up. You only see what you're looking for.
Well,
can I give you that?
Can we? Yeah, I listen. I'm ready to receive it. Go in your bag.
You only see what you're looking for. And I dropped a post about this about 2-3 weeks ago. I had to be looking for something to see and meet those people.
Right. Absolutely.
That's the problem with some of our educators and just people in general. You're not looking for what you say you want.
Yeah.
You say you want, but you're not looking for it. Everything is around you. Me and Jay were just talking before we pressed record
Yeah.
about some things that were in his spirit. And finally, when he said to himself, I want to do this, you popped up. Winter Circle popped up. The proximity of this studio to where he is popped up. You only see what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
So dream chasers out there, make sure that you're actively looking for what you want so you can see it. The universe is all around you. So I feel blessed that whatever my vibration was, it brought me Asheru Ben, it brought me a W. Ellington Felton, it brought me a Raheem Devon. Even though these were not like, these weren't my inner circle friends, but these were acquaintances that we had casual conversation. Like, I'm seeing Raheem Devon selling CDs on U Street, literally out of a box with his name written on them, like, yo, it's okay to be you. And I'm like, wow, this cat's incredible. Fast forward 5 years, he's at the BET Awards. And I'm watching this in real time, but God put that in my circle to affirm that, Brian, you can get it out the mud.
Right.
You can be this person, be this educator, be this person that does this. But if you really want what I have for you, pay attention to what the signs around you. Pay attention to what's around you and follow and trust. But the second part of your question, did I know it was going to work? No. I think no one knows it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
You're trusting in a like a divine promise.
Right.
I always tell God to my quiet moments, God, I'm gambling on you.
I like that.
I'm gambling on you. You put this in my spirit. No one put a motivational speaker in front of me and I said, oh, I want to be that.
Okay.
So I'm gambling on something inside of me. And the way I do my speaking, I've never seen anybody like that does it like that.
Right.
So I'm gambling on something that's inside. The question is, do you believe in yourself enough? Do you believe do you believe in the seed that's been planted in you enough that you can move without guarantees?
Okay. I like it. So there's a step out on faith.
Yes.
And now obviously it's working.
Yes.
It's working for you. And you've created this brand of Brian Heat.
Yes.
Right. Bringing the heat. Like I first off, I love the name Heat. Like I love the heat.
No
and
doubt.
then he pulled up in a red car. I'm like,
it makes sense.
fire.
It makes sense.
Fire.
Right.
This is branding at its best right here, man,
Right.
all around. So you start speaking. What was your first speech look like? Because a lot of people think that when you speak, the first one is going to go amazing, right? I went back and I looked at my first speech. I jumped out on faith, right? It was an 800 seat theater. I rented the joint out, man. I said, listen, I'm just 800 seats.
Jumped out there.
Hey, listen, I jumped out there. Hey, listen.
I like that.
I
like that energy.
Hey, look.
I like that energy.
Man, look, I jumped out there 800. I said, listen, I'm going to sell tickets because I know everybody want this.
Right.
I know everybody want this, right? I start selling tickets. Tickets was $30, man. $30 is nothing to come hear somebody speak, man.
What year was this?
2016.
Nice.
2016, man.
Okay.
I was like, I'm gonna do this, Joe.
Right.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have my church, Mount Olivet. Shout out to Mount Olivet Baptist Church. I'm gonna have them come in. They gonna sing. They gonna praise and worship and get everybody fired up, hyped up for me. Then I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna do my thing, man.
Right.
I invited 15 people from the praise team. They came out. 30 people showed up to a theater of 800. 30 people showed up. 15 of them were the people that I asked to come anyway. I lost over $2,000 doing this. Right. But I gained a lot of necessary and valuable experience in doing this.
Right.
When you think about, when I go back and I look at that first speech, I see so many areas of growth.
Right.
And I wanted to take it down so many times.
Right.
But I couldn't.
Right.
Because I needed to see where I am now versus where I was then so that I can see the progress.
Right.
How was your first experience?
I think mine was a little bit different because I had kind of like the cheat code.
Okay.
Because I was a teacher.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So the better question is, how was my first time in the classroom?
Okay. How was your first time in the classroom?
Probably difficult to some degree.
Yeah.
The good thing about a classroom teacher, which I think I always had the skill set, was if you're funny and you have patience,
yes,
and you love kids, you can maneuver through a bad teaching lesson. So I was 21 years old. My first school, I think I was like a fourth grade teacher. And so I was nervous.
Yeah.
I looked mad young. You know what I'm saying? It's back when I had my special ed curls. You know what I'm saying? I had my temple tape. You know, I'm reliving real quick, man. I got it made. So I got it made vibes. But I just remember being in the classroom, and I just remember it was just about connecting.
Okay.
And I think I really recognize my gift is that I have ability to connect with people very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of like quirky personality barriers. And when you meet me, it's like, you ever meet someone, their energy is a little bit hard to approach.
Yeah.
On a variety of levels. They
Yeah.
could be stank. They could be like over the top, like too turned up. It's just, I have an ability to very easily read someone. And I tell people, if you're listening, go study emotional IQ. Is this something that we you know what I'm saying?
Listen.
And emotional IQ, people get the misconception. Emotional IQ is about you knowing your own emotions.
Yes.
Emotional IQ is not just about you regulating your own emotions. It's also being able to feel the emotions of people around you and where they are in the room.
Come on now.
I think that's one of my gifts. Now this is the thing. Just because you have a gift does not mean it doesn't need to be developed.
Yeah.
So I have a talent, but I think over the years I've had to work on honing that talent. I always think about like superhero origin stories where they first find out they have these powers, and that first montage of scenes is them like struggling with them,
Right.
And struggling with, it's like Spider-Man can't get the
I can't get
it. He's falling off the building. And so I think for me and everyone who's a dream chaser, you're always going to be in that learning curve. You're always going to be in that space. So for me, I think that first time in the classroom, it was me trying to hone my superpowers.
Yeah.
Me try to relate to these people, these young people, to make sure they knew that at minimum, even if the lesson was whack, I love you.
Yeah.
Because I tell teachers when I train, you can't transform what you don't love. So, bump the whole lesson. I've seen folks where their whole curriculum is like, you could put it in a museum. It's that perfectly written. But when they distribute it, when they give it, it's lacking love.
There's no passion.
Oh my God.
Man.
And this is my thing. I had love. I came in with love.
Right.
And so because I came in with love, I think it was easy for me to add in the perfect way to break down a lesson, the perfect way to do this and that.
Yeah.
But because the love was there, the seed was planted in good soil.
Yeah. And I think I don't want y'all to miss that. Can you hit record on that for me right there? Yeah, just hit the red button. Yep, just hit the red button. What I don't want you, can you do it on that one too for me? Yep. Yeah, you can just, if you can go, no, not that one. This one, yeah. Just go around the back. Can you get around there?
Be careful.
Yeah, there you go. You good. You are good, man. I've learned that podcasts don't have to be perfect. I've learned that in this process. And in the beginning, there's no way that I would have said anything to anybody. Like I was like, no, it's got to be perfect. Shh, everybody be quiet. All right, I realize it doesn't have to be perfect, right? So in the beginning, right? When what was it like? Because when I wanted to get paid to speak, right? Mm-hmm. The idea of getting paid to speak came from me hearing and seeing other people get paid to speak, right? But what choked me up was when they said, "How much do you charge?"
We got to take it. Let's take a step back though.
Okay.
I tell everyone who is in a space of transitioning into entrepreneurship and transitioning to activating some type of dream, purpose, or passion. Yeah. Don't be afraid to do it for free at first.
Oh, man.
Realize when I was first starting as an educator, I'm teaching all day. And what I realized is you don't want to have pennies become barriers. Fam, do you get what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
You don't want to have, I want $100. And because you want $100, you're not going to go get that experience of motivating that class or showing up. Like if you're a trainer, if he don't give me $100, I'm not going to give him a session. Bro, you have no clients. You have no experience. None. You have all you are is you're chopped up personally. But okay, congratulations. You're chopped up, but your business is not a business because you don't have any clients.
There's no results.
So go out there and say, you know what? I'm going to do 10 clients for free. Now, when you're doing things for free, it doesn't mean you're not looking for an ROI. Because our ROI is going to be, let me get some video. Let me collect some data from the audience. Let me get some things that I can use while I'm building so that I can study myself. It's almost like studying film as an athlete.
Absolutely.
I used to film myself. When I was doing it for free, I would say, hey, man, I'll come in. I'll do 2 hours. I'll do this. I'll do that. Can I film?
Right.
Can I collect surveys from the students?
Right.
And then on the way home, or look, fam, I would teach. I would leave during my lunch break, jump on a train, go to a school, do a motivational session, jump back on the train and go back to work in the middle of my workday, right? Literally. But on the train,
I hope y'all hear the hustle.
I'm studying the survey like, well, we like your energy. We like that you include music. We like the way you dress. And I'm like, okay, I'm building my brand, but I didn't get paid. Yes. And eventually we did, going back to your question, eventually I did get to a situation where I would say, what do you have to give me? And words like honorarium started coming up.
Hey, listen. Don't go into the school and say, "Here's what my fee is." Right. There, like when I learned the word honorarium, it sounds more diplomatic, if you will. It sounds more professional. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Do you have an honorarium in mind
for a speaker who's just getting started?
Right. Yeah. So that's the question that I asked. Right. So that's one of the things that I teach in the winner circle. I always say you don't want to be the first person to throw out a number in negotiation. I don't want to be the first person to throw out a number, because what happened in my experience was I was going to throw out a number for this particular college, and I was going to say $3,000. This is the most that I had ever charged or asked for a presentation. But smart me said, do you all have a budget in mind? They said $5,000 to $7,000. What? So if I would have said 3,000, they would have been like, yeah, come on, let's do it. Right. But that's me thinking, oh, number one, no, that's about knowing your worth. And then number two, it's about asking them what they have in mind. So I would have lost out on $4,000 had I said my number as opposed to asking them what that is. Right. Let's go back to you doing it for free, because I don't want them to miss this, right? Because this is one of the things that I started doing. I started teaching a GED class in Pennsylvania. I was in that Pittsburgh area.
Nice.
Started teaching a GED class for 6 weeks. I had a 6-week course, an hour and a half, an hour 15 minutes a week at the GED place. I was there for like 2 years, right? Doing it for free, gaining experience, getting more comfortable speaking in front of people, gaining, like you said, notes and stuff like that, right? I don't want them to miss doing and giving away their stuff for free, because like you said, there's always an ROI. The behind the scenes stuff and actually doing the stuff that's necessary for your business is your ROI. So when you first got into speaking, right, and you said you're now getting paid for it, right? Do you remember who gave you your first opportunity to get paid as a speaker?
It was a local charter school. You know, because my thing was, I was so young when I first started speaking. This is for young people to start early. I didn't believe. I'm like, who is going to listen to me? I'm 21, 22, 23, 24 years old with these thoughts of going to speak. And one of my OGs, shout out to my frat Omega Psi Phi, he said, Brian, just go speak to young people.
Yeah.
They know less than you. Right? You're a little bit older. You have a little bit more wisdom.
Yeah.
And so I just realized early, and a couple other confirmations just put me in a space of, Brian, where are you strong in terms of your wheelhouse?
Right.
So all speakers don't speak to the same thing. Like, I'm not a financial speaker.
Right.
I have my own financial outlook and how do I generate my income and my wealth building, but that's not my niche. Certain people speak to relationships.
Right.
Certain people speak to real estate. Certain people speak to, whatever it is they do. They do fitness. Find out what is your wheelhouse. What is your comfort zone of speaking? What's your power place? Then I tell people, before you go into a school system or you approach your client base, do you have some type of press kit? Do you have some type of one pager? Because it's the thing, you're asking for money, but you're not presenting yourself as a professional who's worthy of the money.
Come on now.
So you come to the table and you have all this success in your other field, and you think your ego tells you, well, I'm so-and-so. I'm going to walk in, they're going to give me this.
Right.
Why? Why do you think that? You're a new jack. Create an opportunity where you have a one-pager that says your name, your signature topics, a great glossy photo of yourself, maybe a video from one engagement you've done or something you record at home. Present yourself so that you put yourself in a position to make the money.
Okay.
I think the first time I got an honorarium, though, it was probably about $500.
Okay.
It was from a local charter school.
Yep.
And I remember because going back to the classroom that same day, Jeff, I was bugging because after taxes, I realized I was only making $160 a day as a classroom teacher. And I just made $500 in an hour speaking. And a light switch came on. I said, I got something here. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And so another thing I teach people now, or just when I talk to people, is that don't let your position description of your career determine the heights of what you can earn, because they're not paying you what you're worth. They're paying you what they can afford to give based upon the budget of that job description.
Right.
I've never had a job description big enough to match the talent that I have. Does that make sense? That's a real.
Hey, listen, drop the mic.
That's a real.
Drop
Right?
the mic, y'all.
But you get convinced by that.
Yes.
If you stay in a box, what is it like the analogy of the elephant that is raised from a baby with the rope and
with the stake in the ground. Yeah.
And then eventually, when they get full grown, there is no stake because they've been trained to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, this is a 500-ton animal that could have been ripped that stake off the ground. But you're trained to stay where you are.
Yes.
And so for me, that's when I started realizing, wow, not only the financial reward, but that I was worth more than I was being paid. And
Absolutely.
I was worth more than I was being treated.
Absolutely. I love that. So, okay, so let's talk about the business part of being a speaker, right? Because it's not just the glitz and glamour of being on stage.
Right.
It's also the business part of being a speaker. Okay. So number one, let's start here, right? How do you craft your presentations or your speeches? Is there a formula that you have to craft a speech or presentation?
Yes, but I want to go back really quickly because you asked me something, and I want to. Can I give?
You can give it all, man.
I want to give a moment or two moments that I was basically told. Someone tried to question me. Was this for me?
Okay.
So speakers that are out there is an organization called APCA
Uh-huh.
and NACA. I think you're familiar with these groups.
Yeah. Oh,
I think I may have even told you the story. And so this is probably around 2011, and I'm about a year in. My first major conference was University of Akron's Black Male Summit. And a shout out to them, man, because they really opened the door for me in terms of the major college circuit. Because when you go to these major conferences, there's other colleges that attend. And so when they see you do a keynote, they're like, well, I want heat. And I kind of spread throughout the country from this conference. But I remember that around that same time, I had an agent. So shout out to Tracy Wiggs. He manages, he used to be Steve Harvey's agent. He used to be Cedric Entertainment. He's a booker. Yes. But he never booked speakers. He booked poets and comedians. Mm-hmm. And I think you and I talked about that.
Yeah, I know Tracy Wiggs worked with eBaby.
Yeah, no doubt. So all I have to say is he booked me for one of these conferences. Now I have to keep it a buck. Yo, you have to realize, man, I never came into speaking to be a podium speaker. I came in to completely rip this shit all the way apart like a rock star, like start to finish. I wanted something that was like super turned up.
Yeah.
But I still didn't know what that was. I don't know. When I look at the Eric Thomases and the Anthony Robbins, they're high energy, but I still didn't see what I wanted to do.
Right. So
my first time doing this APCA event, I show up with a custom made Dark Knight Batman jacket.
Okay.
And not something out of Party City. I'm talking about I spent like a stack, a band, like armor. The black armor, you see them it's the same jean,
right,
bruh. I had the stonewashed jeans with the Jeremy Scott Adidas with the wings on them.
Stop playing.
These people saw me on stage and were like, what the fuck is this? And these was all white folks. These are all white people at the time. I was in upper state New York. And I came in and did something crazy. I just, you only had like 10 minutes on stage. So when you do these events, when you step off stage, you do a marketplace and they come around the table and basically people try to book you. I had mad folks coming to my table, taking pictures with me. I was like, oh man, I just broke out. I'm up. I went to Tracy. I said, fam, how many bookings did I get? He was like, none. What you mean none? He said, bro, none. He said people were blown away, but they don't even know what you did. Like, what was that? They were motivated. They were turned up. They can't even describe what you did to take back to their college to say it was just like above. It was above their head.
Yeah.
Heartbroken. Lost money on plane tickets, hotel, the fees that are surrounding APCA. Went home, little devastated. I said, well, Tracy, what do they want? He said, Brian, they really want Steve Harvey. I said, what the fuck does that mean they want Steve Harvey? He said they want somebody more clean cut. Like, Brian, that was just a lot. They never seen anybody like that before. And I said, okay, bet. I changed my whole style up. Came back like a year later.
Yeah.
blue suit, white shirt, red tie, looking like Donald Trump out here. And I had Brian Heat's ultimate college curriculum. I thought I killed him. Came back to Trey. I said, Tracy, I gave you what you asked for. How many did I get? None. He said, Brian, you sure this is for you? My heart dropped for a quick second, and then I started laughing. I said, if you believe I'm going to let these goofballs in this audience shake my faith and determine that I'm not valuable in this space, you got something coming.
Yeah.
But I also learned to really be authentic to you. I switched my whole style up for a booking that still didn't generate what I wanted.
Right.
And I learned a valuable lesson that although it was a perceived failure, sometimes, man, when life throws that, it's like a chin check. Like, okay, you tasted failure. Do you want what you say you want?
Right.
Are you willing to embrace what this feels like and wake up the next day? Even my lady was on a plane like, Brian, you're like lit. Why you, this is a plane going home. Like, why you turned up? I said, because I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
These people playing with me. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, that's the story I just want to share, that speakers, dream chasers, you're going to experience failure.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Rick Ross says, build failure into the plan.
I like that.
Put it into the plan
Put it in, yeah.
so that you can almost anticipate that when they don't buy my records, when they don't book me here, when they don't book me here. I know now, Jeff, when I don't get a booking, it's because I wasn't supposed to be on that stage that year.
Yeah.
That's not my stage.
Right.
God's going to put someone on that stage that's supposed to be there. And when it's my turn, I'm going to burn it down.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I had to give you that, Jewel, because I didn't want people to think
that,
you know, once I came from the classroom and it just was like my first gig was this. I've had engagements or opportunities where people didn't connect or something like that. And it's like, you know what? Find your way to kind of craft your message, always be growing, but be prepared for things not to go your way. But then that's where your faith kicks in.
Right.
Yeah.
So now with that, right? Back to the original question,
Yeah.
right? How do you craft the presentation,
Yes,
right? Because like you said, you know, you're doing this presentation and now here you are, here's this guy no one's ever seen before.
Right.
There's no bookings. Then you go back and you give them what you want.
Right.
There's still no bookings. Like, so how do you craft something that that resonates with people?
Every single time I get a client as a speaker, I always have a pre-booking conversation.
Okay.
And this could be the principal, you know, whoever runs the company, the coach. Because I do athletic teams, I do corporate clients, nonprofit, school systems.
Yeah.
And I'll have a conversation. Tell me about the culture of the audience. Tell me their age group. Tell me the theme of the event. Is there a theme? Because I want to resonate with what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Speakers never go in with a cookie cut message.
Right.
Never go in there with, oh, this is my best talk. Yeah, but your best talk may not be on pulse for that audience that day.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke one year at University of Clemson's Black Male Summit, and Dabo Sweeney, he's the head coach of Clemson.
Okay.
Dabo, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Long story short, Dabo, they came to me at this VIP event and said, Brian, do you mind if the coach of Clemson opens for you? Because we finally convinced him to be a part of Summit. Now, this dude's a god at the time. They just won the national title.
Right.
And so I don't watch college football, but I knew who he was. I was like, cool, you know, he's a god down here. We're going to say no. Dabo, who was, you know, again, an incredible motivator of men, he came in with this rah-rah message and literally put 800 boys to sleep. He had a 10-minute window. He spoke for an hour.
Yeah.
And all the women around me, like, these are all these white women, like, who are these organizers, like, all around me, like, Mr. Heat, please save us. We didn't know he was going to go this long. I'm bringing this up to say, even if you're a man of or a woman or a man of success, did you study that audience?
Right.
Do you know what they resonate with?
Gotta do your
Don't
homework.
say your ego, I can do whatever. So
Yeah.
getting to your question, I have this pre-conference conversation. I find out the tone of the culture. And then I always make my presentations in steps of either 3, 4, or 5.
Okay.
Meaning, when you have more than 3, 4, or 5 main topics, you can lose someone.
Yep.
So I say speakers have 3, 4, or 5 things you want to address, and make sure you stay consolidated with that and you're on topic for the time frame. If you have a 10-minute window, keep it 10 minutes. 15, 30, 45 minutes, hour, workshop, whatever it is. So that's how I start to lay it out. And I think of just bullet points. These 3 words I want to focus on. These 5 words. And then I create an experience around those 3 to 5 words.
Come on now.
So for me, it's so funny. I would, and I'm giving a little bit of sauce, but I'm gonna give you a little sauce.
Hey, listen, go in your bag. He's gonna help y'all get in your bag. That's what we here for.
So I would do speaking engagements, and I realized with most speakers that people, like a speaker would come on, and people just like meander into the audience and slowly start filling up the room, and then they would just be introduced. Me, I said, I don't like that. Don't do that to me.
Okay.
Keep them people outside, lined up, like a movie theater, like a club. Keep them lined up, doors closed, until I'm ready for them to come in.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting to the speaking engagement. And then again, this is for, I'm not saying like the classroom speakers. This is when I started doing bigger spaces.
Right.
The sound system is bananas. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm getting there early to talk to the AV guys. I'm playing music like Man of Steel, Hans Zimmer, superhero type shit. Like you hear this ethereal music. The lights are down. I got a certain lighting in the room. I got my banners up. It's a vibe.
Right.
On top of that, on my spiritual tip, I always go into a space praying over the space before they walk in.
Okay.
I'm touching seats. I'm touching rows. I'm asking God and my ancestors, be in the room, be in the space. And now when I finally let them in, these people walk in like, what the fuck is going on in here?
Yeah, it's an atmosphere.
Oh
in here.
my God.
There's energy in here. I can feel that.
Got him.
Yeah.
Jeff, I got him.
I like that.
Before I said one word, done.
I like
Done.
that. That's how you create that atmosphere.
Done.
I'm gonna add that. And listen, if y'all don't want to take that and add it, I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna add that, right? Because
Done.
I think creating that environment helps you to, number one, there's always a feeling of anxiety, of nervousness, right? Even I've been doing this for, a long time. You've been doing it for even longer.
Right.
Do you still feel a little bit nervous sometimes when you, like before, and then you realize, hold on, I'm me. You know what I'm saying? I got this.
It's a nervousness, but I'm a monster.
Right. Yeah.
Point blank, period. I can't remember the last time I did something that it was not overwhelming.
Right. Right.
I don't even know if I can't give you more. But it's the reps, though.
Yeah. Yep.
I put a lot of reps in.
Yeah.
Now, my reps are far from being over.
Okay.
But in terms of, like, it really is a y'all don't realize how powerful you are when you let God come to the surface.
Right.
That's a bar.
Yeah.
When you really let God come to the surface. So when I'm on these stages, it's not me.
Right.
It's somebody else that takes over. Like, I'm gonna tell you how I go. It's so powerful on these stages, how God shows up. When I get done, I have to go to sleep for like an hour or two.
Wow.
Like a real life superhero. Right. Like I have to go and recharge. Just like you've seen movies like that where it's like he exhausted his powers. He has to go back to the Fortress of Solitude and recharge. Yeah. I've never done, like, I don't go to a speaking engagement, then I meet someone for a happy hour. No, I don't got nothing left. I empty speakers. Empty your soul on stages.
Absolutely.
Michael Jordan had a video years ago called Come Fly With Me, or Jordan to the Max, one of them. This is back in the VHS days. They said, well, Mike, why do you go so hard every night? He said, there's someone in the audience that has never seen me play. Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure it's the first time them seeing me, they're never going to forget who I am.
Right.
So when I speak, I don't know if I'll ever see that audience again.
Right.
So I'm going to give you everything I have so that you never forget the experience I gave you. Okay. That's my assignment. Absolutely. And if I fail to give that assignment, that's failing God. Not the audience, not the organizer, not the people who book me. I disappoint. I have tattoos on my hands that say repay grace. That we've been given these blessings. Ultimately, our life should be dedicated to paying back those blessings. Wow. Being on these stages is me giving back to God for what he gave to me.
Wow. I love that, man. I love the philosophy of why you do it, right? I absolutely love that. So man, like there's so many gems that are being dropped here, man. I hope y'all are picking up every single one of these, right? So how does a speaker get booked to speak? Because that's the sauce, right? Right. How do I get even how do I get free opportunities? Right. Because there isn't a place that's just offering free opportunities to come and speak. Right. How do I get free opportunities and how do I get booked as a speaker?
So it's funny because during the pandemic, I created a course called League of Extraordinary Dreamers, where I teach speakers how to become Get Ignited speakers in terms of me being able to share what was not given to me. You know, I had to study YouTube and meet certain people over a 10 or 11 11-year period to learn these tricks of the trade. But I
Right.
teach people how to do that. When you're trying to get speaking engagements, I'm gonna give you a little bit of sauce, a little game. You first start off by writing down your warm and your cold market list.
Okay.
Your warm market list are people that love you and respect you, and you know that whatever you desire, they're going to show up for you.
Right.
And these are people that you get their name, their email address, and you send out either a one pager. And I keep saying one pager. For people that are trying to be speakers, you need a one pager.
Yes.
This one pager has a very dope picture of you that matches your brand. It needs to have your name, your email address, your contact information, your top 5 signature topics, the groups that would be perfect for you to speak to in terms of high school, veterans, inmates, like whatever your group is, and have that on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you email with a welcome letter to your warm market list.
Yeah.
Hey, mom, dad, cousin, sister, nephew, homeboy, my guy, I'm starting a speaking business. I'm looking for some early engagements, and this is what I have. And I love you to just refer me to a couple people you think would be interested. Remember, I'm doing it for free. Da, 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 da. That's how you enter the game
Right.
from that market when you're at the bottom. The second part is your cold market list.
Okay.
The cold market list are people you don't know.
Okay.
Right? So you start to look up all the schools in your community,
Yep.
all the schools in your city.
Yep.
Who do you know that necessarily may not know you, that may be, on the school board or so and so, and you start to generate that list.
Yep.
This is the database you start to build, which is your initial email list of when you're going to get all your information out there. So it's a warm market list, a cold market list. From there, you need to have some type of camera or cell phone setup, and you need to prepare yourself to start either virtually or in person going to these doorways, these opportunities, these schools, these coaches, these churches, and have a conversation about what value you can bring them.
Yes.
Entrepreneurship is about solving problems.
Yes.
It's about adding value. You as a speaker, how are you adding value to what they need?
Yes.
How are you solving the problems they have?
Mm-hmm.
Once you have a system or approach to that, then you begin to pitch. I can help you, coach, by adding value in this space.
Yes.
I can help you, principal, by adding this type of mindset to the culture of excellence you're trying to create. I can help you add value to that, and I'm going to do it for free.
I hope so. Listen, so I hope that you all are not just listening to what he's saying, but you're actually soaking in what he's saying, right? Add value to your culture, right? These are different, right? Like you have to learn how to speak the language of the people,
Yes.
right? Who are the decision makers, the principals, the guidance counselors, the teachers, right? Whoever is that decision maker, right? You got to know and learn how to speak their language. And there's certain buzzwords and there's certain phrases as a salesperson, right? You have to sell yourself. Here's how I can add value to your event. Here's how I can influence and inspire and cultivate better relationships within your company, within your organization. Here's how I can teach your students to believe in themselves, and you know what I'm saying? Those different things. I hope y'all are paying attention literally to the small things that he's saying, because y'all know my saying, right? You can't paint a big picture without a small paintbrush.
Facts.
Because you'll miss all of the little details that make it actual artwork.
Facts.
There is artwork that is being said and what he is saying, right? And he gave y'all game in terms of the warm and the cold leads, right? So we definitely appreciate that, man. So as we're kind of getting ready to wrap up, man, like first and foremost, I want to say thank you for coming out, man, and dropping so many gems. How can people sign up for your program and get get a part of you said what was the
So it's called League of Extraordinary Dreamers.
Okay.
And through that we do one-on-one coaching.
Okay.
For small entrepreneurs looking to kind of define their brand.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody just fresh out the gate who may be transitioning into, hey, I have a talent, I have a brand in mind. It's like an incubator. How do I create it so that I can put myself in a position to win? So we do that. We also do Get Ignited Speaking in terms of people that want to become speakers. And we also do male empowerment. So I have a program. Currently, I'm an educator also at Prince George's Community College, which you know.
Yes.
And I have a program that I built from the ground up called the Diverse Male
Extraordinary
Yes.
program.
So we've been around for 11 years. We've had over 3,500 men go through the program. And last year, because of the success of the program, they gave us a $3.7 million grant to build the program to new heights.
Yes.
And so with that being said, I'm now looking to start building something similar on my own.
Yep.
So not only have I had the success in the academic space, but building something similar to that where I'm helping young men in the same capacities that I'm helping them academically. But I'll speak to this very quickly. One of the things I realized as a teacher is that K through 12 in the U.S. system, college in the U.S. system is missing their mark in terms of fully preparing adults for success.
Wow.
We're being taught so many things that are not relevant. We are being taught subject matters, and we're being taught things that are really indoctrinating us and not educating us.
Wow.
Indoctrination is learn this to fit into the system. Education, if you break it down, means to pull what's inside to the surface, to pull the greatness out. I don't think education does that. I think it indoctrinates you to think a certain way. So we're going to start, and I do it anyway, is how to meet young men and young entrepreneurs and young dream chasers and how to find out what's inside of them to pull it out. But now we're talking about also, where's the financial literacy? Where's the emotional health and wellness?
Right.
Where's your ability to communicate? Where's your ability to build effective relationships, both business, professional, romantic, and personal? These are things not being taught in the school system.
Absolutely.
So again, it's League of Extraordinary Dreamers, Virtual Academy, and we're also, that was during the pandemic, it had to be virtual. But we have virtual components, also physical, where I teach people how to become speakers. I help young entrepreneurs to build their initial vision and brand to help them be in a position to win, and then also empowering men in capacities that really will make them successful as adults.
Yes.
Not just walking around with a degree, but can you be a functional adult that can grow wealth and you can relate to people? And if you have emotional scars, you know how to heal from them. This is what we're trying to do in the League of Extraordinary Dreamers.
Yes.
But my contact information is, our hub is brianheat.com.
Okay.
I'm on all platforms.
That'll be here somewhere.
No doubt. brianheat.com. Instagram is Brian Heat. Facebook is Brian Heat. Brian Heat Get Ignited at TikTok. So we're definitely making big things happen, man. So I'm excited about what's coming up for the end of this year.
Yes.
I know I have a big engagement coming up with the Obama Foundation. I'm doing something in Vegas, the 22nd of October.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's big.
Wow, that's
big.
huge.
Yeah.
So okay, so talking about something big, right? We're gonna put it on camera.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna put it on camera.
Okay.
We need to do a conference this year, man.
Absolutely.
We need to do a conference this year. There's nothing happening that is homegrown here in the DMV by way of conferences, getting people ignited, getting people in their bag.
Yep.
Right. We don't have it that is homegrown here, and it needs to be here. The people here want it, and someone has to step out and say, I'm going to be the person or the people that are going to do it.
Yep.
I want us to be the people that are going to say, yo, we got to plan out. We want to do an end of the year conference and literally, man, just go absolutely crazy and prepare people, man, for 2023.
Oh, I'm with it. That's one thing that's been on my vision board for a long time.
Okay.
And we'll talk offline about some of my ideas because where I see it going is insanity.
It's insanity.
You know what I'm saying? But we're going to, and I'm going to tell you what I see is getting close to it, is I really support those brothers with Earn Your Leisure.
Yes.
I like those guys a lot.
Love it.
I follow a lot of their podcasts and their information. I missed the event they just had in Atlanta. I was actually in Atlanta, and then I came back right when they
Black
were coming
Equity Con.
Yeah. So it was. I think it was. What was it? What did you say it was called?
Black Equity Con?
No.
It
was Invest Fest.
Invest Fest. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I had just left.
Yeah.
And 19 Keys, and I mean all those guys were down there. I think Shaq was there. I think Steve Harvey was there.
See, we got to build that same culture here, man.
Right.
I'm tired of having to go to Atlanta to be around entrepreneurs, yo. When there are entrepreneurs here, I'm tired of having to go somewhere else when we can have it right here. We got spaces.
Right.
We got room for conferences. We got all of this stuff. We don't need to go out of our backyard to get the stuff that we need to be empowered, to have the what's the entrepreneurial podcast here in the DMV, the way that Social Proof is and Earn Your Leisure is in Atlanta. It's In My Bag with Backpack Jeff is what it is now, right?
Facts.
What's your podcast called?
Pocket Full of Jewels.
Pocket full of jewels.
Yep.
Pocket full of right. We need these podcasts to get that same attention and attraction that's right here, man. And we got to be out in the community doing the stuff that they're doing, man, because I love what they're doing, right? We need a finance guy here like him 500 is the guy. Who's the guy here in DMV that's the finance guy?
Right.
Who's the guy here in the DMV that's Wall Street Trapper that's the stocks guy? Who's
Facts.
the guy here in the DMV that's the Turo and the Airbnb guy like Mr. 2 Weeks Out? Who's the guy here in the DMV that's the real estate guy?
Right.
Like who is that? That person is here.
Right.
And we just need to come together and we need to have more of these, man.
And the key becomes, one, you're 1,000% correct, is that what I've realized in this area, and it's an easy fix, but you have to recognize the challenge.
Yep.
Is that there's a lot of egos.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that would rather work in silos.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it in the entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm.
You see it in the artists that find it hard to break out of this area because no one's working together. Atlanta, one of the reasons why they took over entertainment and took over hip hop is that they embrace each other with no ego. These artists will jump on immediately.
That's Southern.
You could be a brand new artist out the street, but if someone says you're hot, you mess around being on a little baby track.
That's Southern hospitality.
And then you up.
Yeah.
Here in the DMV, because I don't know, man, it's just been interesting. But what you do is you start small.
Yeah.
And you get 3 to 5 people that are commonly, have a open spirit, open energy, and none of us are doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Then we tap into our people,
Yeah.
our 10 to 15 people. Next thing you know, you start a conference with 100 people.
Yeah.
That's light work.
That's
100 people in a room, and now you create it and you build from that core organic group. But it starts with like-minded people sitting down saying, what experience we want them to walk away with?
yes.
What's the visual of it? What's the information we want to share? What's the hottest, most valuable pieces of nuggets we can give them? Then when they walk away, they're ignited to become something better. And to me, we gonna get it done. I'm with it.
We're definitely gonna get it done, man. Y'all heard it right here first on In My Bag with Backpack Jeff. We are absolutely going to get it done, man. Again, I want to say thank you for coming out, man. This has been an amazing conversation, and I hope that I know that you all have been given tools in order to be successful as an educator, as a speaker. If you desire to get better and to earn more within yourself, right? Make sure y'all take what you all heard today and apply it and really actually use it, man. Because I promise you, it's going to help you get in your bag. When you hear "In My Bag," what do you think of when you hear?
It's funny. So Diddy has a new song out called what's the new R&B joint he got with Bryson Tiller?
R&B is dead or something like that?
No. I mean, that's it. He's trolling with that one,
right?
But he has a song called dang, bro, I've been pumping that joint. But at the beginning of it, it comes about. You hear Diddy, get in your bag, stay in your bag, get in your bag, stay in your bag, and it's a jam. But what Diddy says, and what the context is, being in your bag is being in your zone.
Gotta move on.
Gotta move on. Yo, I've been pumping that joint heavy. That's
I'm on it now. As soon as I get in the car.
Every single time I go out, it sets my vibration. Like, all right, we about to mix it up, about to get activated. Get in your bag, stay in your bag. So what I think about it is, when you're in the zone,
okay.
When you're in that power place, you feel good and you're in your bag. Your bag is, I'm in my gifting, I'm in my purpose, I'm just in that power place that whatever life throws at me, I'm good.
Absolutely.
So and that's a hip hop thing for us, like stay in your bag.
Stay in your bag.
But I will say this, and I put a post about this recently. We have to find a way that it's not about the glow up, it's about the stay up.
Yes.
Meaning that you're not just we have so many dynamics of ups and downs, and we have to start making choices that we don't just glow up and fall off and glow up and fall off and glow up. Nah, we have to find a place where the decisions we're making, the choices we're making, where we put ourselves in life, how we treat our bodies, our mind, the people that surround us, we stay up.
Right.
We're not having to go up and down, because that could be emotionally draining.
Right.
Find a way, people, to put yourself in a space where you stay in your bag.
Absolutely.
You're not always having to find your bag. Where I put my bag at? I need to get back in my bag. Nah, I stay in my bag because of my choices, my prayer life, my meditation, how I work out, the people I keep around me, my diet. That keeps you in your bag. So that's what I think of.
Absolutely, man. Thank y'all, man. Again, y'all heard it here first. Brian Heat. Make sure y'all follow this brother on all social media platforms, man. Hey, this has been another episode of In My Bag. Y'all know my motto: always stay in your bag, so you never got to chase a bag. We out.
Boom.
Man, hey.
Jesus.
Was it good?
Jesus. That was fire.
Good information?
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
listen.
Yes, sir. I'm about to say, I was
Man.